of Michelle Obama. He talked about her returning essentially to Africa to go hang out with gorillas, a racist remark without question there. And then of President Obama, he wished him death by mad cow disease. So Carl Paladino making some very, very controversial and clearly racist remarks, at least when it comes to Michelle Obama here. And listen, Carl Paladino was Donald Trump's New York campaign co-chair, but he also has been in Donald Trump's orbit more recently. Just earlier this month, he was spotted leaving Trump Tower after just having met with the president-elect.
Carl, first of all, a lot of people are wondering, are those really your comments that were published in Our Voice?
Yes.
And were they some sort of joke, or were you serious?
Well, as I said in the memo, a little bit of humor, old-style humor is good. And deprecating humor, yeah, it's the appropriate time. It's the appropriate time to say goodbye to a couple people who I think the country created a very divided country because they tried to bring the country someplace else other than where it wanted to be. And we witnessed, as a result, an upheaval in our middle class, in the silent majority, who said they had enough of this nonsense. They don't like the progressive movement. They don't like anything about Obama or what Obama has done. When you see the polls, just remember that a good 45% of those people are uninformed people, and it's pretty sad. You can't justify anything that he has done in education because he hasn't done anything in education, especially for our inner cities. It's so disgusting to watch these poor kids continue to suffer. He came in saying, oh, we're going to have vouchers and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But what happened to Mr. Duncan? He was very, very disappointed. He quit. He had enough. He says, you promised me all these things. We're going to help these urban kids. He has done nothing for the black community. He's done nothing for those poor kids to give them an opportunity to live the American dream. And he wants us to give him a legacy. He wants us to be nice to him and not come out with some rotten humor and tell him, just what he did. Yeah, goodbye, Barack. Goodbye, Michelle. Oh, the woman who hated America and then stuck around for all the bennies. And then at the end, she says she's lost hope. America has no hope. It's the end. Well, Michelle, pack your bags and go over to Zimbabwe and live over there. Okay, and I just happened to pick a country. But that from my perspective, it's time that these things are said. And I say it with all sincerity, and I also say it with a little bit of humor. Okay, people don't like it. That's just too bad. I don't care. You don't want to read me? Fine.
A lot of people who have read that are reacting, though, saying these are racist and they're hateful.
That's what people say, barring or not having any other defense for the issue at hand. Okay, I hear it constantly. I'm a racist. I'm a racist for pleading for 33,000 kids we have in our municipal school system and trying to do something right for them. Trying to even hang the picture of the then current president of the United States in all our schools so the kids know who their president is. There's something wrong with that? How racist was that for the board members to turn that down the other day? Just how racist was that? So don't go accusing me of being a racist, because I'm about as far from that as possible, and that's why I feel I can say these things that I say. I don't care if they don't want to listen. The black leadership in this community is horrible. They do nothing for their people. They do it for their own power and self-preservation, and so they can get reelected. They like having the cycle of poverty in our inner cities across this country, because that cycle of poverty is the voting base of the Democratic Party. Keep them hungry, keep them dumb, okay, and everything's all right with the world. And they do nothing about changing it. And we just witnessed a black president for 8 years doing absolutely nothing. Nothing. And in addition, disgracefully minimizing America to the international world, minimizing America in every possible respect. It was a disgusting presidency, and I'm glad he's gone.
Kids are going to read that, families are going to read that, though. Do you think it's appropriate for a school board member to make those type of public comments?
Hey, I'm not judging myself. I am what I am. I'm saying what I'm saying. And I don't see it as racist at all. And it's about time you guys got over being politically correct.
I mean,
Yep.
when you say that the message that you're trying to send, why phrase it this way that people could?
Because I got your
interpret that?
attention, didn't I?
I suppose. But
Did I
doesn't
get
it
your
water-
attention to come in here, okay, and listen to the deeper story? Did I do that?
I suppose, but doesn't it water down the total message when the focus is on the way
No,
you phrase
because
it?
you guys print what you want to print, and it's only when I get you excited by saying something off the chart, okay, that you suddenly, okay, want to listen. That's the truth, isn't it? I can't get your attention otherwise. I've been called by 15 press outlets already today, okay? I figured that you two guys have been fair in the past, so I'll talk to you personally. But all the other ones, they're going to get that press release that I just printed. That's life in the big city. It's about time we started facing our challenges instead of dodging them. That's reality. That's real. Those issues are real. People suffer every day. Kids are suffering in our cities every day. And the politicians walk around like, oh, it's just another day at the ranch, you know. It's pretty sad, isn't it? Obama's looking for a legacy. He should have been thinking about his legacy 8 years ago when he started all this nonsense. He started telling us that there are certain people above the law. You can't prosecute them. He hid Lois Lerner. He hid the head of the IRS. He hid Eric Holder. He had Loretta Lynch compromise Comey in that election. Come on. Are people above the law? Now he's sitting there considering pardoning Hillary Clinton. What an affront to the American people that'll be. Talk about rioting in the streets. I think the people will be out there and they'll be really disgusted with this man. It'll be the final nail in the coffin of his legacy.
You know, the population of students in the Buffalo public school system is pretty diverse, and no matter what way you interpret it, some of the stuff you read or wrote reads in a racist tone. Like if you had to,
You're just stuck on racism, aren't you? How about talking about an issue? You're stuck on racism because you've got no answer for any of these other issues. It's ingrained in you. You're a young man, okay? Okay, you haven't been around here that long. You've been conditioned to think racism. Okay, there's a whole element of people out there that are racist. Well, 50% of the population of this country came out and said they had enough of this nonsense. Don't go throwing that word around loosely. I'm not a racist. Tell me how I'm a racist. What did I say?
I mean, the way it reads, you.
The way it
more or
reads
less,
is
yeah.
the way you want to interpret it. Okay, we can call it we can self-deprecate ourselves, or we can put words out there that'll deprecate somebody else, okay? And when we do it sometimes in jest, and we do it sometimes because we do want to hurt that person's feelings, okay?
When I talked with Common Council President Darius Pridgeon, he did not say it was racist. He agreed. He thought, First Amendment rights, you have the right to
Because
say
he's
whatever.
because Darius Pridgeon is one of the more learned black leaders. I disliked Darius for many years, and I came to find the man to be really interested in doing better for our community. I mean, he's a guy that lived in the bad world, okay, and he's lived in the good world now, all right? And I think he earnestly tries. I look at some of these other black leaders, especially the members of the Board of Education, it's sickening. It's totally sickening. They just rigged a teacher's contract, okay? And then if I didn't say something yesterday, they were coming down hard on the nurses. I mean, where's the reality here? You rigged a contract. You did something illegal, okay? You deprived the board of having money to negotiate any other contracts. Why'd you do that for Phil Rumore? Why? Because he elected you? Because he gave you money for your election? You were bought and paid for? Pay to play? Is that the game? But you guys don't want to talk about that. You don't want to write about that, okay? All they want to write about is, did Carl Paladino say something racist? I said something that brought you into this room so that I could say the rest of it.
But the Common Council President, he said even though it wasn't racist, he thought it was hateful, and he was upset with that. He thought that was...
It's all right for me to not like our president. That's all right. I don't care. Call it hateful. That's all right. Doesn't matter. I don't like people that try to demean my country, that try to demean the veterans of this country, that try to demean the military of this country, that fired over 300 generals and admirals who wouldn't toe the line and wouldn't listen to this diminishing of our military. That's who I respect. I don't like a president, okay, who allowed Valerie Jarrett to go and stand down in Benghazi and not send our boys to help those kids on the ground. I have a military background, okay. My thought is the military never leaves its men behind, and Obama left them behind. He drew a red line in the sand in Syria, and then allowed all this killing to happen because he's a coward. We have a president who is a coward. A yellow-bellied coward representing America. And you want to know why the middle class rose up and said enough is enough? Just those simple things. I know you're going to edit the hell out of this thing, but it's the reality is that there's a lot of real issues to discuss about this president and his legacy. He just pardoned 650 drug pushers. They're back on the streets poisoning our kids. Stop it. Stop saying that that's all right and acceptable. It's an afternote in the Buffalo News. 650 criminals who are prosecuted in our system, he just commuted their sentences. There's nothing wrong with that? That's not racist? What's it about? That's how I feel. Yeah.
Do you worry the backlash from this, though, could cause you some?
I don't care. I don't fear.
Administration?
Okay, I don't fear. No, I don't care. I don't care if they don't like me. I don't care if people got something to say, because I know that their minds have been so warped by this progressive movement over the years that these people have to be reconditioned to a reality that's not trying to micromanage every thought that they have. The press in the past has had that ability to tell them what the issues were and how to solve those issues. And they listened. And then finally they said, boy, there's something bothersome about this. So when they saw the guy come out with the flag, and the American flag, and say, we're going to make America great again, they listened. And they did that for a reason. That was more of an upheaval, of a revolution, than it was an election. The American people spoke, and that was awesome. And from my perspective, I'm just following up on the conversation.
You don't think this is going to put you in bad standings with
I
Donald
don't
Trump?
listen. I don't care if I'm in a bad standing with anybody, and I'm sure that Mr. Trump is going to say that's Carl being Carl, and he's doing what he believes in. That's what Donald Trump would say. I don't worry about that stuff. You wouldn't be able to live with yourself if you sat around and worried about that nonsense. Good?
Good.